Good morning, and once again, welcome to the Haven Financial Group radio show. I'm Larry Kalvig, on with Kim Kerrigan and Kyle Thomas, certified financial planner here with the Haven investment team. Kim, I just wanted to mention it is our 10-year anniversary this year. We're very proud of that. We're beginning another expansion. And also, we also are big sponsors. We're all dog folks here at Haven Financial Group. We're big sponsors of Can Do Canines, and they just was a couple more pups born. And just like last year, our clients are going to name one of the recent pups that will serve a lot of special needs, a lot of people that need dogs. And Can Do Canines just does a great job when we're proud sponsor here at Haven. So another pup is born. But back to that really, really exciting retirement financial conversation. Oh, boy.
Well, dividends, I think people get so excited when they hear, that something provides dividends, but I'm not sure people, know exactly how you draw those dividends or what the benefits might be for drawing them, or maybe the tax implications. So let's talk a little bit about dividends and how in retirement they can benefit you.
Yeah. So dividends are a great piece of income that you can receive from your portfolio. Mm-hmm. There's many companies out there that have greater than 5% dividends, and people live on those. There's one client of ours that comes to mind. We got a couple million in one stock that he had worked at that company, and the dividend is over 5%, and he's living off that income for the rest of his life. So that is a nice piece, because there's no age limits that you need to get to in order to get access to that money. It just comes right into your account, and you use it for your living expenses. Now, however, there is drawbacks as well, because when you receive dividends to that magnitude, that is taxable for your tax year for that year. So you need to keep that in mind and see, okay, how much money am I actually getting from these dividends? Is this something that is pushing me to a different tax bracket? And is it limiting me from doing other things like maybe Roth conversions, like we talked about on that first segment? So it is something that we need to watch. It can provide value to you, but it also has its drawbacks, and it's something that maybe isn't as good as it sounds.
Mm-hmm. When it is a problem, how do you advise your clients? What do you tell them to do?
So there are a lot of people who want to solely live on dividends, because, and the most common answer is because, well, I don't want to lose my shares. Right. And that's the trade-off that you need to look at. So if you have, $1 million and you have 5% dividends, that's giving you $50,000 a year. Yeah, you're not losing any of your shares. But if you also look at the type of shares that you own, they're not growing as fast. All of the top companies from the last few years, the Magnificent Seven stocks, they don't pay dividends, or they pay very small dividends. So what opportunity cost are you giving up by solely investing into dividend players? And also now that is fixed coming into you. You have no control over your taxation, which what we want in those, especially those retirement years, is full control over our taxes. So the vice versa scenario with that $1 million is, when you need money, you just sell whatever stock you have, and yeah, you're losing shares, but your accumulation was probably a lot better, right? So now you're also paying long-term capital gains rates versus dividends, which are sometimes taxed at ordinary income tax rates.
Mm-hmm. So you're looking at the types of investments they have first off, and then looking at that tax bracket to make a decision as to whether those dividends are worth it.
Yeah. So and oftentimes, individual stocks, we don't necessarily recommend to hold in the portfolios too. So we like diversified investments like the S&P 500, right? We want stuff like that as well, that is well diversified, and not necessarily individual stocks, because now you carry individual stock risk. But yeah, we take a look at everything that is in there, and especially, those high dividend yielders. That's something that we try to stay away from too, especially in those taxable type of accounts. And another thing with the dividends is the value of that dividend isn't exactly accurate. You're not just creating 5% of value. Whatever that dividend is, that stock or ETF or mutual fund drops in value by exactly what that percentage is. So if there's a $100 stock that pays a 5% dividend, well, that stock should go down 5% on the X dividend date is when that happens. So there is a trade-off there because the company can't just create that value and send it out to you. They're literally distributing the value of that company out to you.
Sure. Is there a dividend opportunity that you think is a good one when you're in retirement? Or is this, because I'm sort of getting from you that you would advise most people to sort of get away from that once you're in retirement?
And so I'm not saying that dividends are bad. I'm just saying that we want diversification, and some of the diversification incorporates dividend type of stocks, right? So we don't want to just fully avoid them because there's great dividend paying stocks that provide value, but I don't want to just isolate into buying dividend stocks. Now, alternatives are, some fixed index annuities or, treasuries or tips. They're not necessarily dividends, but it's kind of playing the same type of role where it's an interest that is being credited to you. And that plays a great role in your portfolio, especially, in IRAs as well. And that's also, if you did hold dividend stocks or ETFs or mutual funds, you want to hold those in the IRAs because you don't want those to be taxable in a non-retirement type of account.
Sure.
Kim, it really comes down to balance and diversification. We say it all the time. One listener the dividend strategy might be good, and the other listener it might not be good. So it's really individualizing what makes sense in retirement. Where are the income sources, tax efficiency? All of these things go together. So again, it's not one glove fits all for everybody. Not even kind of. Having good liquidity, that's where I think it starts. Money in the bank, available monies. And then having stock market investments where appropriate, and then maybe some investments that offer principal protection, depending upon what your risk level is. Having a good understanding will get you through these volatile times that we've been having. Not having an understanding will create panic and fear, and the phone call that says, oh my goodness, I can't sleep at night. I got to just get out altogether, which would be the worst thing you could do for most people. It starts with having an awareness and understanding, and that's where we take people through our proprietary process at Haven Financial Group, starting from the discovery meeting to the strategizing session to the implementation to monitoring and making adjustments. That's what part of a process which makes up part of a plan. That's what we're trying to help people do.
So I hear what you're saying, and you're saying to mitigate these problems, diversification is the answer when it comes to dividend stocks.
That's exactly what I want people to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. 612-504-8400. Do you have some questions about, maybe some of your investments and you're not sure if you're in a spot that's best for you at this stage in your life, or maybe you are just thinking about putting together a portfolio for your retirement and that it's that time, and diversification is not something that's part of your current portfolio. If that's the case, give the folks at Haven Financial Group a call. That number is 612-504-8400. Tell them you heard us here on the radio and that you'd like to come in, sit down, and talk about what your goals are for retirement. Again, that number, 612-504-8400. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the bedrock of retirement. You know what that is besides diversification? It's consistency and stability. We'll talk about that when we come back right here on the Haven Financial Group Radio Show.